So my name's Jared. I've been working at Google for nearly 3 years. Now I kind of work mainly on YouTube. YouTube's become a big branding proposition for us. But how I'd like to position YouTube today is kind of in between branding and performance. You guys know what I mean by branding and performance. And I think YouTube's got value in both sides of the equation, and it kind of sits right in the middle. And I'm going to take you through some of these slides, and I'll save questions for the end, and I'll show you a couple YouTube video examples that could kind of get your mind, stimulated. Well, why online video? You all know why. We don't have time. People don't have time to read. There's so much information out there, and video, like TV, has got the power of sight, sound, and motion. However, from a digital perspective, we have all the wonderful things digital has to offer, which is real measurement. Give you a lot of insight into who your audience is, how they're engaging, what works, what doesn't work. Like I said, sight, sound, emotion. Really, really effective. And when you want to engage people, this is the way to engage people. I think in an environment where people are going online, it's growing really fast in South Africa. What we see, even in the most highly competitive performance markets, for example, like insurance in South Africa, brands are winning. Brands win online. Traditionally through Google, and the digital space has been seen very much as a performance-driven environment. Search advertising being direct response. Someone searches for something, you show them an ad, they convert. It's the typical way of search advertising. Now we're saying, yes, search is important, but you need to throw brand in there because people have got so much choice. And how are you going to grow brand advocates? How are you going to grow brand loyalty? And I think that's where YouTube becomes very, very cool. So we have an ad format called TrueView. Show of hands, who knows what that means or knows what that is? Can't really see. It doesn't look like a lot of people. Okay. Well, then this should be interesting to you. So I'm going to talk to you about YouTube from an advertiser point of view. You must understand this. YouTube is a social platform. It's where content creators live, and it's also where brands are trying to grow. So it's kind of multifaceted in that sense. But I'm going to talk to you about getting your ad, getting your brand, and promoting it and getting it on YouTube. And that's what the TrueView ad format's about. It's actually an award-winning ad format. In 2012, it was voted the best ad format, I don't know, by some standard or whatever the case may be. But why do you think it was voted the best ad format? Shout out at me. Pardon? Okay. There we go, because you can skip it. Why is that so amazing? You have choice. Someone started that, right? You guys know banner advertising everywhere. You don't have choice. The YouTube TrueView ad format was the first ad format created where a user was allowed to skip an ad. I'll get into the details as to what that actually means, but that's pretty cool. So this is basically an invitation to connect. And if people aren't interested, they skip. If they're interested, they let you know they're interested by watching. So what do we see? And I get people asking me all the time, who watches these ads? I always skip them. Who clicks on these Google search ads? I never click on them. So in South Africa, we see an average of around 12% of people watching a video to the point in which we call that an engaged view. What it's costing for that view is around 80 cents, okay? Now, there's a lot of free branding and a lot of free advertising that's going on before you get to that point of we call it a billable event. And I'll take you through that. But basically, if someone engages with your ad, tells you that they're interested, it's going to cost you 80 cents every time. Now, before I get into that, is that how the billable event works is, say, for example, you've got an ad that is 45 seconds long. YouTube determines that, YouTube have decided, I don't know, it was probably a little round table and guys decided 30 seconds. 30 seconds will be the mark in which we say this person was engaged. And say, for example, you've got an ad that's 45 seconds or longer, you will only get charged if someone watches 30 seconds or more of the ad. Conversely, if you have an ad that's around 15 seconds, so less than 30 seconds, you'll only be charged at the completion of someone watching the ad. Now, I'm going to actually throw out a t-shirt here for that. But what is the cool thing about that? And I'm looking for a specific answer. What is the really cool thing about, this whole idea of an engaged view? Yeah.
5 seconds you can actually engage clients and get away with not paying them.
Yeah, that's I was looking for something a little bit different, but that's it. What I was going to get at is that there's a whole lot of free branding going on. Right? Say I've got a 15-second ad and I watch 13 seconds out of that 15-second ad, completely engaged. I know exactly what your brand is, I know what it does, I know where to find you, and I watch 13 seconds of that 15-second ad, you didn't pay for it. There's no other medium and no other way that you can do that via YouTube. So, well done to you. So, you've got new guys coming into the market, you want to launch a product, you want to create a bit of awareness for a new offering, this is where you need to be doing it. There's a lot of clutter in display advertising, and I'm not knocking display advertising at all. I think display advertising is very effective, and especially when you do a bit of remarketing, which was the session before, this is where it's at. But there's so much more, and I mentioned this now, about looking beyond just the view, and this session is about the real value of a view. So if we look at a traditional marketing funnel, you have your awareness, your consideration, your intent, and your purchase. And we're generally trying to drive people down the funnel. Now, TrueView and YouTube advertising slot in both at the top of the funnel and at the bottom of the funnel, and that's why I say you can position it right in the middle. So from a paid point of view, anyone that completed a view on your video, you would say, okay, and people that didn't and skipped ads, you're creating awareness, especially if you get your message across in the first 5 seconds. You're creating awareness, you're creating consideration. It's a very uncluttered environment. Think about it. When you're on a YouTube watch page, it's just you and the video. When you're on a publisher site, it's you, it's an article, there's a lot of ads going around, it's in your periphery. When it's you and YouTube, it's that. Whatever message is coming at you directly. Now, there's a lot of free stuff that's going on, and I'll get into how to value this, but anything you see on the slide in green is free. Now, if someone clicks off your video, and you can click off a TrueView ad and direct someone to your website, that click is free. So, free branding and free traffic. How YouTube makes money, a lot of people are doing this, okay? And then conversions. That conversion didn't necessarily cost you to drive traffic to your website. It cost you for the view. It cost you for the branding. So the other parts that are free, partial views, banner clicks, I'll get into that, and something called view-through conversions. Now, for the people that are a little bit more advanced and have run YouTube campaigns, this is important to understand what the view-through conversion is. So in the AdWords interface, you have something called the last click conversion. And that's someone clicking on an ad, going to your website, and then converting. And it goes into that column called last click conversions. What happens with YouTube is if someone clicks on your video and the video takes you to your website, and someone clicks on that video before what we call a billable event. So they clicked, your video, your ad is 40 seconds. After 10 seconds, I'm like, I'm looking for this is cool. I click on the video, I go to your website, and I convert. What happens in AdWords is that's seen as a free click. It's reported as a free click because you didn't pay for that click. So in the AdWords interface, you'll have to click on a column where it says free clicks, and you'll have a look there. And if someone does convert off of your YouTube video, that goes into view-through conversions. Whereas in the past, if you speak to anyone who's done display advertising, people are like, view-through conversions. View-through conversions, for those that don't know, is I saw your ad, I didn't click on your ad, I later came back to your website within whatever window you define, and then I converted. So a lot of display advertisers say, all right, for your display campaign, I'm going to attribute 10% of the conversions that we see in the view-through conversions to my specific display campaign. So you're saying 10% of the time your display ads influence someone to convert. You can come up with your own assumptions, whatever you feel comfortable with. Display does have an effect on people's behavior. We've seen this. With YouTube, view-through conversions, you should be having a lot higher attribution. You should be saying with YouTube, from a performance point of view, 80%, 90% of the conversions you're seeing in the view-through conversion column are attributed to YouTube, because most of the time people are clicking off of that video before you had to pay. So if you're going to be pitching to clients and you're going to be saying, let's do branding and let's do performance and they can work together, which they do work together, you need to be very clear about this whole view-through conversion scenario. And you need to set up the expectations right in the beginning and say, this is how it works, this is how we need to attribute it, because this is actually what's happening. The added value. So YouTube's a social platform. Shared views, follow-on views, and brand search. So I've run a couple, call it YouTube blast campaigns with a couple clients, where they were just all over YouTube. And what we did was we measured the base level of the brand searches that they were getting, and we ran this for 6 weeks. And then we measured the base level of brand searches that they were getting afterwards. And there was a 30% increase. So brand influences performance. And that's also how you should be attributing the value of your branding campaign. You can't look at these two things in isolation. The final area that's really cool, which not many people are looking at, is audience information. Now, if you want to know where display advertising is moving towards, it's all about audience. I don't know if you guys have heard of real-time bidding and the ad exchange. But basically, this is all about publishers selling audience information, and that's how advertisers want to advertise. They want to say, this is my audience. This is who likes me. And you can actually bundle that, and you can track that. And a lot of the information you're getting from YouTube tells you this. I'll get to remarketing with YouTube now, and that's where you can do a lot of your audience-based stuff. You can see things like people who liked your video, commented on your videos, subscribed to your channel. These are brand advocates, and you can send them direct messages saying, thank you, you're awesome. Here's a special discount. And then what happens? They're like, wow, this brand's so cool. They send me a personalized YouTube video because I subscribed to their channel and they gave me 15% off. And what does that person do? Tells other people. The holy grail of marketing, word of mouth. And word of mouth online, that's called virality. Cool. So performance impacts, attributable TrueView benefits. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a case example of someone advertising with the TrueView format, and look at all the free impressions that they get before that billable event. And you can see in your AdWords interface, I served 2 million impressions and I got 100,000 engaged views. And I'm not using the word views, I'm saying engaged views. These are people that watch 30 seconds or more of your ad. But if you got your brand message out there in the beginning, in the first 5 seconds, there's a lot of brand uplift that's happening here. We've done studies where, we've done a lot of global studies. We don't have any local studies, but we've got a lot of global studies where it says guys that skipped ads had a 59% brand recall. Running TV and YouTube together increases product recall by 2 times. There's a lot of branding, and you can be very smart with what you do in the first 5 seconds, and I'll show you some examples. I mentioned free clicks and this whole idea of free branding. So say, for example, when you're setting up your YouTube campaign, you have an option to set up something called a companion banner. You should do that. It's free branding. Now, if I decide to skip this ad that you see over here, that companion banner on the right-hand side remains. 2 things here. 1, if I click on that, free. You never paid for that. That's free banner advertising. 2, spot the clutter on this page. No clutter. So really, really cool. Not only is it free, it's just an uninterrupted environment, whether it goes into your subconscious or not, and if you've got something that's of a real value and a good proposition, you can really get into the minds of consumers without paying. If you don't have a companion banner, we do something called a companion wall banner, I think it's called. I could be wrong. Basically what that is it accumulates all the videos that you have on your channel. It doesn't look pretty in my eyes, but you can send people to your channel if they've decided to skip your ad. Now, we're talking about strategies and remarketing. So basically, this is a typical kind of strategy that guys would employ. The way that we say with YouTube and YouTube targeting is this. Firstly, let me start with the way we do display advertising. Display advertiser will say to you, I want to target people who are interested in home and garden, 25 to 45, also interested in shopping and real estate. That's my target audience. And with display advertising through Google and the GDN, you can target those specific people and try to be as relevant as possible. And that's the beauty of display. What we say in the YouTube space, target everyone. Why do I say that? It's because let people choose you. A lot of the time, and there's been studies that have been done by Unilever in a global sphere, a lot of the time, 53% of the time, the people that purchase their products are outside of who they think their target audience is. So, two things by limiting yourself to targeting a specific demographic or interest or whatever the case may be. One, you limit the amount of inventory that you have available to you. And two, if you limit the amount of inventory you have available to you, you actually end up paying a bit more. So what we say is go broad and let people choose you. They'll let you know if they're interested by watching your ad. Now, off the back of that, you can do something called remarketing. YouTube is the only place you can do remarketing without someone coming to your website. No tags, no codes, no dealing with webmasters or whatever the case may be. They auto-populated remarketing lists based on people that watched your video, liked your video, commented, subscribed to your channel, all these kind of things. You can also do something called negative remarketing for people that did these things too. Now, with that, you can send them a tailored video. You can say, or you could send them the same video and use an annotation, but I'll get into examples of that where you say, hey, thanks for watching. You shouldn't actually say that, by the way. That's a bit stalkerish. But guys have done that, and it's a little bit freaky. So with remarketing, as a caveat, don't come across as if you're following you around. I don't know who's been, I hope no one's here from Zando, but they pissed me off, seriously. Literally follow me everywhere around. It's very stalkerish. So, you know, one of the things we talk about with remarketing is doing frequency capping. Frequency capping is you basically say, okay, this person's shown me they're interested. I'm going to show them 2 times a day, 3 times a day on YouTube, maybe 1 time a day on YouTube, this specific creative that's tailored for them. Now, I said it can be the same creative, and you can use something called those annotations, you know, those little pop-up things that come up on the YouTube video. And you can say something specific, and it really works. I've run remarketing campaigns for clients, or helped them run at least, where the first phase of the YouTube video had a view-through rate of 10%, and the remarketing video with a specific message and an annotation had a view-through rate of 20%. So, you know, people respond to that. They respond to communication that is tailored, but there is a fine line between that. I mentioned remarketing to brand advocates, you know, sending them videos, thanking them. You know, a lot of brands at the moment, and big brands especially, are trying to figure out how do we encourage loyalty and retention. That is very difficult at the moment. So if you've got a customer base, you need to think about this kind of stuff. Here's just an example of Nissan. They did remarketing, and what I'd take out of this is the 80-20 principle. So, you know, when you talk about branding, now I'm going into the branding sphere, Guys try and drive people down the funnel by creating awareness through above-the-line advertising like TV, and then pushing them through to the point of purchase. What we say is we want you to flip the funnel upside down and focus on the 20% of people that are going to do 80% of your business and 80% of your work. And that's what a YouTube affords you. It allows you to understand who is interested, and you can send them offers and you can send them content that they can do the work for you. And it's concentrating on that lower funnel and creating awareness almost in the inverse. I mentioned before, TrueView ads increase brand searches, something that you can measure both in AdWords and Google Analytics, and it's something that you need to take into account. Any AdWords advertiser will tell you, where does the bulk of their conversions come from? At the cheapest price, brand. You want to get people that were searching 1,000 times a month to 5,000 times a month. That's not going to happen in the search advertising environment. Because search advertising is really good for direct response, but it's not brand-centric. It's not communicating who you are. It's not telling people why they should use you. It's not communicating your value proposition with sight, sound, and motion. So, you really need to take this into account. Yeah, that's not really relevant. And I mentioned to you the whole idea of view through conversions. So, when looking at the value of a view, there's all these things, right? There's the cost of the view. That's the first thing that you're going to see when you're doing YouTube advertising. But then there's free clicks. What we've done with certain advertisers is we've said, okay, we did brand advertising and we generated X amount of views, but we got you 10,000 clicks to your website. How much would that 10,000 clicks would have cost you in the search environment? That's value. That's free value that you got off of this campaign. Now, what I will say with that, and where guys are still falling short, is you need to be smart with the traffic that you're driving. So display advertising and YouTube type advertising drives a lot of traffic, okay? Drives a lot of people to your home, to your website. Now, if you just let those people come and go as you please, you've lost a big opportunity. But if people come and you're sending them to a particular page, and you're sending them to a particular part of your website, make sure you have remarketing in place. I cannot emphasize that enough. That is when you become good to very good, because then you're doing audience-based advertising. You're advertising to audiences that have engaged with you. Now, don't let that free traffic and that traffic that's going to your site just be a one-hit wonder. Then you're wasting your time. Free and partial views, free banner impressions, follow-on views, brand queries. This is how you should be valuing a YouTube campaign. So I mentioned before, it's a social platform, and there's a lot of insights that you can get out of it. So people that are watching ads are recalling your brand. It's an uncluttered environment. Did any one of you, I don't have this example because I've showed it enough and I'm a bit bored of it, but have you guys seen the Audi example? 0 to 100 in 3.2 seconds. So, great example. Audi had a campaign for an R8. They put it on YouTube, and their ad was 3.2 seconds long. Because it was just the car going to 100. Thanks, you can skip the ad now. They didn't pay a cent for that. If everyone did that, YouTube would be out of business. But the thing is we've got a lot of research around brand uplift and brand recall, and just it's well documented. It really, really does stick in people's minds. Now, I will say as a performance advertiser, and so you don't have big budget for very creative content, get your message out there. And I'll show you an example of something that you can do that doesn't cost a lot of money. Because I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, yeah, this is all great, but then I have to go and produce content. And I've got to go and produce good content, and that costs a lot of money. You can also be creative with this. Social impact. So we ran a TrueView campaign for Castle Light, and I put the screen grab in here for 2 reasons. One, before this campaign started, Castle Light and the Castle Light videos, when you search for Castle Light on YouTube, weren't really showing up in the top results. They didn't have any traction on their videos. They were putting up videos with a couple hundred views. They weren't pushing it on YouTube. As soon as they decided to push it with a bit of paid media, the results changed because people were interacting with their content. This is a good signal for YouTube to push them up the results. The other thing is that if I'm a user and I search for Castle Light, or the Castle Light video comes up, and I see 265,000 views on a video, I'm like, cool. They must be doing something cool. That gives the brand credibility. And it's like, okay, this brand's not messing around. And we know Castle Light's a really cool brand. So, these guys put a bit of paid promotion behind it, but they also got a lot of free value, as I mentioned before. There's kind of like a global stat, and don't hold me to this. But for every 2 paid views, guys get 1 view free. And it sounds like a nice little sales pitch. But the thing is that people can share your videos, and if your content's good, they'll share it. Now, I'm going to do a little myth buster for you. A lot of people come up to me and say, how can I get my video to go viral? Viral. Viral's awesome. I want to go viral. How can we go viral? And I don't have answers for people for that. Now, you can't script someone getting hit by a buck over, riding a bicycle. Can't script that. Maybe you can if you're really smart. But those kind of things you can't script. Now, a lot of you guys will know, obviously, Gangnam Style, right? Over 1 billion views for a Korean pop dancer. I still can't actually believe that. And, you'll also, where virality started was with the Old Spice guy. You guys remember? I'm on a horse, right? That's where this whole thing of YouTube virality kicked off. And did you know that campaign had a lot of paid advertising behind it? That video was up on YouTube for a year with no traction. And only once it reached a critical mass and the content was good enough did people start sharing it. So there's kind of like this theory of like the hockey stick, right? Get to a point of critical mass. How you do that? Well, you probably got 2 options. The one option is you pay for it and you put it in people's faces. The other option is you get big influencers to talk about you. That's how the Unfoot became successful. The Unfoot put their videos up on YouTube, and I don't know whether they asked or how it actually happened, but Dr. Dre and Pharrell tweeted about it, and that's how they became YouTube stars. Their content obviously supported what they were saying, and then enough people saw it and enough people shared it. So what I'm saying is if you're going to go down the road of actual content creation and you want to create something that's viral, think of those things. Paid and earned media, they work together. Here's a little South African success story. Casper Lee. Have you guys heard of this kid? Yeah, a lot of you. So 19 years old, finished matric, lives in London, YouTube star. He's been starred in Spud 3 now. He's taking acting lessons in LA. He's got over 1 million subscribers to his YouTube channel. This is an interesting thing, and aside from the points, but we helped with the Nelson Mandela Foundation, and we put out this video for people to dedicate 67 minutes of their time on his birthday. We got Richard Branson, we got Morgan Freeman, we got the Dalai Lama, we got Bill Clinton, we got all these people to promote on their YouTube channel and be part of this video. And then we also asked Casper to say something. Who drove the most traffic to our site? For me, I found that was a penny drop moment going, this world has changed. Casper Lee, an 18-year-old kid from Knysna, had more influence and sway than the Dalai Lama and Bill Clinton on YouTube. It's mad. Now, the point of this slide is subscribers. Subscribers watch 2 times more content than non-subscribers. So anything that you're doing on YouTube, you need to have in the back of your mind, how do I drive more people to go and subscribe to my channel? Is there a reason for them to subscribe to my channel? Is probably the first question you need to ask yourself. A lot of brands come to me and say, oh, we've advertising and you're just not driving any subscribers. And I was like, well, how many videos do you have on your YouTube channel and how often do you post? It's like, no, I posted 2 videos a year ago. Not going to work, all right? People don't have time. That's why YouTube's so cool. They're 2-minute little videos, 5-minute videos, bite-sized pieces of content that people can consume. You've got to give people reasons for that. So another thing is you can have these annotations. You can have annotations for people to subscribe in the video. And you really need to be encouraging people to do something that we call binge watching. Sorry, this timer is not working. How much time do I have left? 10 minutes. 15. Sorry, guys. It still says 45 here. So, where was I? Binge, thank you. Binge drinking. So, there's another phenomenon outside of binge drinking called binge watching. You all know it, and you all do it. When you're downloading your series legally, and you've got them on your hard drive, and you say, geez, you think about it, it's like after an hour and a half of watching a movie, you're done, you're tired. I've watched a movie for an hour and a half. Give you a series, 6 hours, one after the other. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Binge watching, I promise you, this is a thing. And what we're encouraging guys to do with your YouTube videos is don't leave your videos as an island. Give people a reason to binge watch. It's part of our behavior now. So, I watch a video, a little annotation saying, you like this, check out our playlist of that. Or go to our channel and see all these different types of videos. People want to consume content. You have to motivate them to do so. Comments and likes, it's a social platform. Google Plus and YouTube have now merged. So I will say this, and this is not a Google Plus session, but if you want to be good on YouTube, you need to be good on Google Plus too. I say that for a couple reasons. One being doing Hangouts. Who of you use Hangouts or know of Hangouts, Google Hangouts? Okay, quite a few. Now, a lot of guys overseas are creating amazing content via Google Hangouts and offering a lot of value to people, like how-tos, tutorials. You're a plumber doing DIY videos. You can broadcast live on your Google Plus profile and stream that directly to your YouTube channel. And you've just created original content with a camera and someone who's passionate about something. Interesting story about that, because I deal with a lot of the YouTube creators. There was one guy's name's Martin. He was an engineer at Microsoft. He got retrenched. Microsoft haven't been doing that well. And he is very passionate about solar power. So he started a YouTube channel just giving DIYs on solar power, and that's his living. He's a YouTube star. That's what he does. He lives in America now. And the interesting thing that I find all the time is that there's so much interest, global interest, and your audience is on YouTube. I haven't even mentioned the fact that 1 billion people go to YouTube a month. Okay? 1 in every 2 people on the internet go to YouTube a month. And you'll find very, very interesting things about global interest in content that you would never, ever think so. Cool. Actually, I'll give you a story about that. So I deal with DSTV. I always find this is very interesting and gets a laugh. I work with DSTV and the Big Brother Africa. And they were posting content and you've got analytics, and I was looking into the analytics and seeing, who's interested in their content, etc. And I'll give another prize. I don't have anything here, but I promise I'll give you a prize. Give me the country that you think was most interested in Big Brother Africa. I promise you won't get this. No, very obvious. No? No? Shh. I'm not. No, okay. You cheated, but yeah, you can have. Sorry. Lena's heard that before. Saudi Arabia. Okay? Saudi Arabia. Right. So I file a bug, and I'm like, there's something wrong here. That's supposed to be South Africa, and you've incorrectly identified this. Goes off to the analytics team. They come back and they say, no, it's right. Then I'm like, okay, what's going on here? I drill into the videos that are, they're big videos. What are the big videos for Big Brother? Shower hour. Then I was like, wait, that makes sense. Saudi Arabia, they don't have access to that kind of content. And the Saudi Arabians were going onto YouTube looking for steamy content, and that's what they were finding. And that's very appropriate for the slide that you're looking at here, which is data insights. And you can get a lot out of them. And a lot of the time, you're going to be surprised. A lot of the time, you're going to be surprised. A lot of campaigns we're running, you would never, ever think of the interest we're getting. All right, I'm going to break out of this and show you a couple examples. What I'd like to do first, because this obviously suits you guys, is... Oh, one sec. Let me get to... Before we get into this, I want to leave you with some stuff, because this is tools, tips, and tricks, right? Or something like that. The YouTube Creators Playbook. If you're a creator and you want to create content and grow your YouTube channel, that's the Holy Grail. It's the Bible. The YouTube Trends Dashboard tells you about what's trending on YouTube, YouTube videos that are trending. It can give you ideas about what kind of content, places to advertise. So this is what it looks like. You can drill into countries. I can tell you a lot of the consumption of South Africans is very much Western. So if it's trending in America, it's most likely trending here. You do get specific videos that trend here, like that horrific Pinetown crash. I don't know if you saw that. And here's an example of being tactical. So over here, there was these guys, the Kenyan high jumpers, trending video. These Kenyans are jumping Olympic-sized heights. Just, for fun. And they're not jumping like this. They're jumping forward over Olympic-size heights, okay? I took a screen grab of this video when it was on 900,000. I presented it 4 days later and it was on 3.5 million. Now, I searched for it on YouTube. Light bulb, YouTube's the second biggest search engine in the world. Not Bing. No one says, let's Bing it. Thank you. I'm done, thank you. And if I'm a brand like Nike or Adidas or someone, surely I should be there. Right? And then all I could get is some like ab workouts screen grab. So there's a YouTube advertisers playbook. Google it. Again, like for example, I'm looking here, banking advice, FNB, Standard Bank, no one. There's the Google Trends dashboard where you can get YouTube searches that are trending, give you an idea of maybe where to advertise around, take advantage of the trends that are happening. There's the YouTube keyword tool. Google all of these things. Gives you an idea of the volume around certain keywords if you want to do some sort of advertising. YouTube standouts. This is a YouTube channel. And guess where you can learn the most about YouTube? You guys are great. YouTube. YouTube is where education is going. How-tos, tutorials on everything. YouTube standouts. I saw you taking it. It's youtube.com/standouts. This is the YouTube Spotlight where they highlight a lot of cool creative stuff that's happening on YouTube. And then there's also the YouTube Creators channel where you get to see, what creators are doing. Gives you some nice ideas. But I wanted to show you this as well. So, we were saying, like generating content and good original content's expensive. Getting guys to do content for you is really expensive. Here's an example of, not having to go down that production cost, but producing something that's really good and would work really well on YouTube. This cost 10,000 Rand, by the way. And if you want to know who did this, come up to me afterwards. Audio, please.
get one free at Spur today. Buy any single beef, chicken, rib, soya or Texan Blaze burger and get another one for free. Spur, people with a taste for life.
Done. Now let's watch that again. I'll count to 5. 1.
It's Monday and it's buy one burger, get
4,
one free at
5.
Spur today.
Didn't cost a cent. And that cost 10,000 rand to put together. Okay? So I think that is really relevant to you guys. Now I'll show you some cool examples of creative ideas. This was a TrueView ad. So imagine the video behind you has got the skip button on the right-hand side. Okay? This was really funny.
Right now at Superdrug, there's better than half-price Nivea and Soleil Sun Care. That's it. You can watch a Dancing Cats video now. Go on, I told you about the great offers on sun cream at Superdrug, so you can press skip. Skip off, or whatever it's called. Oh, no, wait, there's also great prices on the Beat Wax range. Brilliant. Right, you definitely can skip off now. What are you waiting for? What, another offer? OK, let's see, there's 3 for 2 cosmetics, and there's Rimmel Sun Trimmer for $2.99. Look, if...
So she carries on, but essentially she goes, first 5 seconds, oh, you can skip now. And that kind of audacity and that kind of humor was like, oh, this is funny, this is cool, let me carry on watching. So here's another example of that.
What are you watching this for? I thought you were serious about changing your job. Come on, press pause. 10 minutes. That's all it takes. Upload your CV to JobSite, then they do the rest.
JobSite, how...
If I skipped the video now, I wouldn't have paid. The advertiser wouldn't have paid for that. And I got absolutely everything. Okay, this is Hippo Insurance.
What?
No, my man, don't choose insurance like this. Rather compare quotes with the Hippo. Choose the one that's best for you and save at hippo.co.za.
Okay, so the important thing here is this. This, you can't see it now, but a couple of people were asking me, so how do I send people to my site off the video? And the best way to do it is when you're doing a video, you create a graphic over the video. Now, when you're setting up a YouTube campaign, that campaign you can put a destination URL in. If I was advertising off of this video, this entire video is clickable, but you need to tell people that they can click here. So essentially, if I was watching that in the TrueView skip after 5 seconds, I could have clicked anywhere on that video. But that graphic is making it as if that's the button, and I'll go there and click. So that's how you drive people to your website, and they drove a lot of traffic off of this. This, I want to show you. So this was a shopping one. This is using external annotations. External annotations is a beta at the moment, and it's going to be publicly available to everyone pretty soon. I don't know when, but definitely in the next couple of months. So if I clicked on this, it would go to that bikini. So it's still on that bikini. Still on that bikini. Then it would go to that product. Go to that dress. So I think you get the idea. Go to that dress. Those are called spotlight annotations, where you just create an invisible kind of tag around something, and then you can entice people to click on it, and those were going directly to those specific dresses and that bikini. Yeah. So how external annotations work is once you have them, which I said is in a beta now, so say it's publicly available, for each one of those spotlights you can put a specific destination URL in when you create them. The video can be created, you don't do anything on the video, the transparent spotlights go over it, and guys are selling products like this. You can have like products in a video. Click here, click here, click here. This I thought was really cool. I know I'm out of time, I'll be 2 minutes. So this is an ad.
Can we map
You
the
see this
connection
whole video is
between
clickable.
car and
If
driver?
I clicked on it, I won't let them get charged.
Fisheye is really cool. Fisheye lens provided by Kyle.
That's me, dog.
I get a lot of comments about my equipment, so I wanted to make this video where you can click on all my equipment that I usually use and go to a video where I explain what it is and some backstory on it or how I use it.
Jump cuts.
So I don't know why it's not showing up. Oh, it is, yeah. So each one of these guitars, if I clicked on them, the drums would go to a unique YouTube video telling me exactly about that product. Thank you. Say it again. I know. Then I'm going to just show you two funny things, just because YouTube's funny.
What would be really cool is if you stopped impersonating me.
I would love it if you told me a story, Uncle Ask a Ninja.
A ninja story? Yeah, like a cool one. Of course it's gonna be a cool ninja story. It's a ninja story. It's cool by default. Okay, you're right. This ninja story is gonna be so intense, you will burst into flames some point during the storytelling.
Worth it.
All right, fine. This story starts with a ninja master hovering above the ground, meditating into the very consciousness of the universe. He's also thinking a little bit about this girl that just dumped him, but mostly about the consciousness of the universe.
Nice.
I'm going to skip a little bit to the
Moshi.
the end part, which is very funny. Sorry, I'm getting stairs. If it loads. Oh, it doesn't look like I'm... Okay, last one. Now, so this was a Dodge Durango campaign, and they got Will Ferrell in as Ron Burgundy, and they created 27 different versions of this ad, okay? But all unique and quirky, and they're obviously going to do a whole bunch of, the guys that advertise will do a whole bunch of remarketing off of this. I just wanted to show you one of them, because again, it's really funny.
On my right is the new Dodge Durango with up to 360 horsepower. On my left is one horse with 1 horsepower. That makes you feel pretty dumb, doesn't it? This thing is 360 times more powerful than you. You are literally worthless. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see your child standing there. Hello, what's your name? What are you studying in school?
They did 27 versions of these hilarious skits, all for YouTube. So yeah, with that, I'm out of time. Thank you for listening. Cool, thank you.